Tonight on Podcast Them Down, we are interviewing Cierra White from like 80 bands, including Okash and Thorn. I'll fix this. I'll clean this up in post. I missed the button. Podcast Them Down. Hail Metal Nation, you are listening to Podcast Them Down. I'm Tim, as usual. That's Doug, as often. And joining us is Cierra White, like I said several seconds ago. So, let me see if I have your entire resume here correct.
Oh man.
And then we can go and update Metal Archives. So, you are the drummer of Okash and Thorn.
Indeed.
Emasculator.
Yes.
HARBOURED.
Yes.
Live drummer for Depths of Dementia.
It's been a long time, but yes, I was.
Mount Cairn.
Also many years ago, but yes.
Unreasonable Human.
Same answer. Uh-huh.
And former drummer of Seva. That's a lot of L's.
Yes. Yes.
Is that everything?
No, it's not actually.
Metal Archives is incorrect. What a surprise.
Yeah. I currently am in a band called Last Word from Fort Collins, Colorado.
I have seen that. Okay, yes.
And then also in a little group called Dirty Worthy. It's like a southern rock and roll, hard rock, really fun type project. So that band's just done a music video and released an EP. But that's been it for that one so far. But yes. Dirty
Worthy. All right.
Yes.
I'm taking notes.
Awesome.
Okay. So, well, I guess what I wanted to do was go through each of these bands, talk about them. You can rant about whatever you want to rant about, and then cool. Doug will interject with whatever he wants to interject with. So
sounds great. Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, and just so eyes and more open for you. So I'm a musician. Doug is not a musician, but he has an encyclopedic knowledge about metal, especially Judas Priest.
Awesome. Oh, we love
that's true.
We love Judas Priest.
Oh, well, that means that where is everything? That means I have to hit this.
We got a great big banner that says Timmy loved Judas Priest.
All right. Okash and Thorn. Let's start there.
Okay.
Founding member. You are the only remaining founding member. Is that correct?
No. I'm the only one who's been in the band the whole time. But Adam is the other founding member.
But he left.
And one other guy started the band back in 2012. And then Adam, actually everybody who's in the band now, aside from me, has left and come back at different times. So Adam was in the band from 2012 until I think 2015 or so, or 13. It's been so long ago.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
He was in the first like 3 to 4 years of the band, and then he left to pursue some other artistic interests and had some family stuff. In which we had some other people come in. There's been many people who have fronted the band. Many people have played guitar. And then the other two guys, Jason and Eric, they both came into the band, I want to say 2018 or so. Which is funny because we were all in each other's bands, us three, me, Jason, and Eric. So we all just kind of joined each other's bands at different times. So those guys came in, and then at the end of, what was it? I believe it was the end of 2019, we played a show in Grand Junction opening for Havoc, and that was, many things had come up and people wanted to quit and go pursue other stuff. So we were just kind of like, okay, let's finish this show. Let's do this show, be the last one for a minute, and then we'll, disband and everyone go their separate ways. And then it must have been 2021 that everybody came back. There was some pretty hefty lineup changes in there as well. But this current lineup has been since probably the end of 21, I want to say. So.
And new album coming out.
Yes.
What was it? April 18th, I think. 19th. It's off by a day.
Yes.
April 19th, 2024. Our grief is thus. That is the artwork. I'm really worried about this guy setting my head on fire.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. Nice background, man.
Yeah, he's kind of looking at me weird too. But it can't be this corpse behind me.
Right. Yeah, you're doing better than that person is.
Yeah. So I noticed. I'm gonna get this out of the way. I noticed everything on Bandcamp. All right, is either digital or vinyl. No CDs at all.
No CDs.
I'm pretty sure I'm the last person buying CDs. But every band, at least on the East Coast, is still making CDs, if at all.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So was this the label's decision or your decision to, as a band, to not press CDs?
So as far as the Eternal EP and Our Grief Is Thus,
right? Yes,
our label Lost Future, they only print vinyl as far as physical anything goes. Mm-hmm. It's every band that's on that label you can get a vinyl from, and just because like the vinyl resurgence, it's a cool thing to have. It's kind of a timeless thing, but so that was their decision. There should be some CDs for. Hold on. I have not done my homework on my band stuff. So on Bandcamp,
To Gaze on Stars of Frost.
Yes, To Gaze on Stars of Frost. We still have some copies of that. Those, I will say, those are burned. It's very DIY. So just know that. And then we might be sold out of the May Every Altar Lingers CDs, actually. I might have to double check that. But yes, To Gaze on Stars of Frost, I think we still have a few copies left of.
So one thing I liked about your live setup, so you toured what, the eastern 2/3 of the country last year?
Yes.
There's good branding. You got your three swirly things. I know there's a name for it, and if Nick is listening, he's like punching his podcast device because he knows the name and I don't.
It's called a Triskelion.
Yes, and it's cleverly hidden everywhere, and it has OAT in all of them.
Yes. So that was our original logo. Obviously, the Triskelion is an ancient symbol from the ancient Celts. Of course, can actually be traced back to the ancient Greeks. Is actually where it came from. But yes, we used that, and just to kind of put our flair on it, we put the O, the A, and the T in the spirals, just because, I mean, there's a few other bands that use that symbol, like similarly to black and thrash metal bands using the pentagram. Every band kind of like, it looks similar, so we tried to like put our own little spin on it. No pun intended. But actually, we just actually retired that logo. So if anybody has any merch with that on it or anything, then you're one of the lucky ones.
Nice. Now I'm wondering what was on what I got.
Probably the Triskelion, I think. Yeah, we didn't have the new logo until really just a month or two ago, I think. Yeah. So.
Okay. So
what's the arrangement? Did you commission an artist or
for
band
our
design?
That's the upcoming album? Yes.
For the new logo and yeah.
Yeah. So we went with Kalen Stokermans for that. And he absolutely knocked it out of the park. It was cool. We gave him some inspiration, and he sent us back a few drafts, and we were able to say like, "Oh, this is cool. We don't really like that part. What if we did this?" And then just typical back and forth that you do with any artist. But it was really cool. And then as soon as we got the written logo out, he took that and then made the sigil after it and incorporated things from that with the new sigil. So the process was really cool, but we're all really stoked on what he's able to come up with. And the cover too is like nothing we've ever done before. We've never done a painting to begin with, let alone anything this detailed. So at first we were like, man, is this it? We looked at it and we were like, I don't know, but slept on it for a few nights. We were like, okay, no, this is great. So decided to go with it.
Yeah, that's gonna look great on a big vinyl sleeve.
Oh yeah, and yeah, the whole vinyl, like the jacket and everything, the inside, it looks so sick. Like I am very, very stoked about that. I think people are going to like it a lot. So it's definitely the most professional looking art job, anything that we've ever done.
So your most recent release that's out,
Yes.
is Eternal, the EP, available on a 7-inch.
Yes.
I take exception to it, and I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
The A side is called, the song is Distant Mountains, Distant Gods.
Uh-huh.
You're based in Colorado.
Uh-huh.
The mountains are not distant.
No, we're very close to them, actually.
So
yes, we're very close.
I realize it looks like Adam wrote those lyrics.
Yeah, he pretty much writes everything. Jason does write some lyrics as well, but Adam is definitely the main word writer.
Well, you can pass along my helpful criticism to him.
I will. Yeah.
Nearby
Absolutely.
mountains, distant gods is more accurate,
nearby. Yeah, closer to mountains, maybe.
Where we grew up, the closest mountain is Sugarloaf Mountain,
Mountain.
which is
Mountain.
as intimidating as it sounds like. Yeah,
Okay.
mountains. We're 1,000 feet tall, I think.
Oh, hell
like
yeah.
a hill.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a hill, and you can walk up it with a 3-year-old. So,
Amazing.
Let's see. The only other thing I wanted to bring up about Oak Ash and Thorn is that everyone is very tall.
Yes, except for me.
Except for you. Well, but it also doesn't, it's not obvious because you're sitting. So,
Indeed. Yeah, so I don't stick out that much, which I much enjoy.
so after you got off stage, it was like, hello
Yeah,
there.
right. Oh, yeah.
They'd probably be eye to eye with Doug, but I felt short. And then, but it's also hard to tell from your promo photos because they're like well composed.
Yeah.
They are.
Awesome. Thank you guys.
Yeah. So, if you see photos of them, they're all taller than they appear, unless they're sitting.
Sick. Yes.
Okay. So, next up, Emasculator. All right.
Yes.
Brutal death metal, obviously from the US and Czechia. So, how did that come about?
The lead singer, Malika, who's amazing and has been in the scene a really long time. She's been in a lot of different bands. I think the one that I knew her from was Abnormality, of course. They were on Metal Blade, split up some time ago. But she actually reached out to me over Instagram and was just like, hey, I'm really impressed with your drum videos, trying to start this project, or I have this project and we need a drummer. Would you be interested? This is what we do. This is kind of where we're going, and da-da-da. And I'm not going to lie to you. My first thought was I was leaning towards no. And I feel like this is such a slippery slope to talk about because, like, as a woman, I feel like anytime it's like all female anything, especially in music, I feel like it's either going to be like hell fucking yeah, or can I curse on this? Can we say bad words here?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Okay.
we get demonetized all the time. It's no problem.
Okay, amazing. So it's either like fuck yeah, or it's a giant eye roll, just because like all girl bands tend to come with a lot of bullshit, and I hate to say that because like I'm here for all the girl bands, you know, I fucking love it. But it just, in my experience, I just personally haven't ever had like a good experience with it. So at first I was like, nah. But we talked a little bit. I asked her some questions, and then, you know, I checked out her profile. I checked out Rhea and Morgan's profile, and then the band, and then kind of did some digging and kind of like realized who these ladies were, you know? And I was like, oh, shit. Cool. Yeah, let's talk about it. You know, and like, I don't know, I hate to be that guy about it, but it really was kind of like, oh, like, these girls are fucking doing it. They all live in different parts of the world. They're all in their own bands already. They're all pretty well known, and like, they're just trying to work and play some sick shows and record some awesome albums. So I was like, okay, sick. So Malika then just sent me their Bandcamp link and the Spotify link and was like, this is kind of what we're going for. And the first time I listened to it, I was like, Jesus Christ. Because, you know, like you guys know what Okash and Thorn sounds like. And like, if you've heard Last Word, that's just like Lamb of God and Black Dahlia Murder worship. You know what I mean? It, like, I come from the melodic side of the world, like the groovy, mellow death, thrash, black and roll side of things. So very much like, yes, we love blast beats and fast double bass, but like just a 4 on the floor backbeat every now and again. You know what I mean? So just coming from that world and listening to the brutal death metal stuff, I'm just like, holy fuck, you know, it just blows my mind. So I was like, dang, I don't even know if I can do this, but I'm gonna give it a shot. So I learned their song Age of the Goddess, and I sent them. It's a hard fucking song to play. It's really hard. It's just fast and heavy and hard all the time. But I got like a really sick, like minute and a half go at it or whatever. And I just kind of clipped the best take and laid the song over it and sent it to Malika. I was like, hey, so I don't have this whole song yet, but I have this section really, really tight, and here it is. Let me know what you think. And sent it, and she forwarded it to the girls, and they were like, hell yeah. And that was pretty much it. And that video actually is one that we shared. Once I agreed to be in the band, we did the post of me at my drum set to announce. And then later that day, we posted the drum video of me blasting through that part of Age of the Goddess. And it was pretty well received, which was sick. But yeah, so now I will be in the studio April 13th in Denver with our boy Taylor Hahn at Hahn Audio. Love him. He's tracking drums with me. And then once that's done, we'll send that off, and the girls will all do their parts in their respective parts of the world. And then, yeah, it'll come out on New Standard Elite record label later this year. Don't think we have a date for that yet, but yeah. I
haven't found one. You're also...
It was a incredibly impressive demo. Sounded, studio quality already. So really looking forward to the record.
Thanks. Yeah, those girls, like, they fucking busted that out. It's awesome. It has been, I will say, learning how to play brutal death metal has been quite the learning curve for me. Just the speed aspect alone is just crazy. I mean, these dudes are out here blasting at like 200 BPMs, like mid tempo for them, or like, they like warm up with that shit. So I'm like, and 200 for me is like kind of capping out. Like, I'm getting better. It's been a few weeks that I've been practicing this stuff, and I've definitely seen some improvements, which is great. But yeah, it's been tough. It's been very challenging. But
I assume there's a stamina aspect as well.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And that's why I was like,
you don't get a break.
That clip that I sent to Malika to be like, yo, this is where I'm at on this song. Like, I, at the time, could not keep up that intensity for that whole like 4-minute song or whatever it is. You know what I mean? So we're getting there. It's like weight training, honestly. I'm just trying to like apply that work ethic to this, because I mean, it's really the same, so but yeah, it's been really cool.
And Emasculate, great name, brilliant name, by the way.
I literally, when I realized that that's what the name was, I was like, damn, like, oh shit, like, this is gonna rustle some feathers for sure. Let's do it.
Well, you're playing.
Oh, that was in your comment about the bullshit around all female bands. I would have thought a big part of that is the bullshit the audience brings.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I don't know. Dudes just think that. I mean, I shouldn't just say dudes in general, but I mean, people think that because it's an all female group, any group, not just us, but I feel like there's a certain level of like, oh, it's an all-girl group, so I'm just going to do this or say this, or I can say this, or I'm not going to treat them this way like I would some other band, literally just because it's all women, not because of anything else, and I've never understood that, but I think, it's important to have a band named such a way, because it's people are out here telling on themselves. When they react to us or the name or what we do, or like on a personal pages or whatever, like, some of these people out here commenting are just so unhinged. And I'm just like,
It's a good word for it.
This is why we are named the way we're named, is because people like this exist. And it's just like our way
There's
of
nothing
saying
more
fuck
metal
you,
than being transgressive or affronting. So it's perfect.
Well, that's also like a $5 word. So you have to be smart enough to like know what the word means. Yet dumb enough to be insecure about.
Right. And that's honestly what it is. I mean, like, it's just, you can tell the people who are insecure about it, because when they ask you questions, like there's talking about something and then there's like bugging like, hey, so why you guys called this? Or just, I mean, I don't have any other examples in my head right now, but you can just tell there's a certain energy about it where you're like, oh, you're mad, you know? But I don't know.
Well, I'm sure no one at the Texas Domination Fest is going to be mad about it. So
I certainly hope not.
That's it took a surprising amount of digging to figure out where this was, just because I'm not from Texas. So it's near Fort Worth.
Yes.
And
that is what I've gathered as well.
Yes, my understanding also is that Dallas and Fort Worth are just like a smear of just metropolitan hell. So.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I don't know. I've never been to Texas, so this will be.
I've been to Dallas, so I'm told. I've been to Austin a few times.
Cool.
Anyway, September 26th and 27th, Fort Worth-ish area, Texas, the Texas Domination Fest. Yeah. Was there anything else on that one before I move to my next complaint here? Okay, HARBOURED, spelled the British way.
Yes.
Why?
That is a question for Michael Stansel.
How dare he? Okay, so it's atmospheric.
Probably to just set us apart, I imagine. Question mark, maybe?
It's atmospheric black / post metal.
Yes.
And it has two members of I realized today that I've never had to say this band's name out loud. This
is a thing. I just want you to know this has always been a thing for the entirety of their career. So let's hear it. Let me hear.
Allegaeon. Allegaeon. It's 50% vowels.
You are not close at all.
I'm not at all surprised by that.
So a legion.
No, that's not how that's spelled. No wonder he's throwing U's in HARBOURED.
No, that's for a legion. That's been a thing.
A legion. I see it now.
For the entirety of their career, they, like Greg. So I'm really good friends with those guys. Obviously, I'm in a band with Michael, but even before HARBOURED was a thing, we were all super close. We all go back to Fort Collins, Denver. We've all played shows together. So before they were a legion, they used to be called allegiance, spelled
makes sense
as the word is spelled.
That's the worst part. I saw that it was formerly allegiance, and I still didn't put it together.
Yes, and then they became a legion, and since they made the switch to a legion, just on probably like every third flyer, every third show announcement or something, somebody would spell it wrong on the promo or on the event page or whatever. So, I mean, Greg had this thing for a while where he was just like taking screenshots of how people were spelling his band's name, and it just became a thing. So
now you have the audio version.
Hell yeah. But yeah, so HARBOURED, that's another like side project thing that Michael hit me up about. Kind of in the time where my time in Seva was ending, I wasn't in Seva anymore, and then Mikey was like, "Hey, I'm starting this band. You want to play drums?" And I was like, "Hell yeah!" So he basically just kind of wanted an outlet for like stuff that isn't quite a Legion's vibe. So HARBOURED is yes, more black metal, post metal. There's a good dollop of like synthwave EDM. There's like a synthwave EDM break in one of the songs on the full length, which is sick. Like I love that. And then one of the other songs has like this kind of surfer rock vibe as well, kind of mixed with the black and postness. So it's really cool. It's a really cool project.
What did we just review that had the surf rock guitar in it? Ministry, yeah.
The new record. Yeah.
Surf style stuff is turning up in all the weirdest places now.
It's awesome.
Yeah, but the self-titled was excellent. And I was listening to a lot of your stuff all at once, and I kept hearing this and trying to remember why this is in my playlist, and I couldn't put it in the box, which is good.
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't immediately classify it as anything, so it was challenging in a really positive way.
That's awesome. Thank you. And honestly, I gotta credit where it's due to Michael, because he wrote literally everything. There are some spots where Brandon, the other member from Legion on bass, where he was like, "Yo, I'm gonna do something more like this," and then there were a couple drum parts where I was like, Michael, I love you, but that I don't have 5 arms. Like I can't play that, So
it's a guitarist writing drum parts.
Yes. So, he kind of like just gave everyone the meat and potatoes of the song. It was like, hey, this is where we're going. And then we all each kind of like put our little flair on it here and there. But Michael was the mastermind behind that album. And also, I also have to say, just to his genius, that was the first time he'd ever been in a studio to record vocals ever. And he just walked in, and I mean, he'd been practicing, of course, for like some months up until that point. But I feel like for never recording in a professional studio with your doing vocals before, to come in and lay down what he did, both growls and cleans, was like, I was blown away. So yeah, that guy is a monster in everything he does. He's really rad. But yeah, it's a fun project. I think we should be, believe we're going to do album 2 this September. Going back to California to do that. So.
Oh man, you're covering everything you didn't cover on the Okash and Thorn tour.
Yeah. Should be dope.
All right. Unreasonable Human.
Yes.
So no releases out. That was a question. They're not yet on Metal Archives, which tends to mean that
interesting.
No releases are out, or no one's bothered to put them in. So.
That's probably because of the no releases. We did one music video. We did do one single back in the day called Obsession, which Greg from Legion actually shot the music video for. That's on YouTube somewhere.
It's all intertwined.
Yeah. Everyone in Colorado is, dude. The Colorado metal scene is literally.
Well, yeah, every Colorado band that's in Decibel magazine, based in Philly, is all the same.
Yeah.
Has like a handful of the same people, like in every single band. And
yes,
I didn't realize that until it was pointed out to me, and I was like, oh, and now I can't unsee it. So.
Yeah, it's rad for sure. But yeah, so Unreasonable Human was me and Eric, the bassist for Okash and Thorn, Eric Hoffman. Unreasonable Human was his band. And I joined them probably, 2015 or so? I joined that band. They'd already been doing the thing for a minute, and my very first band that I was in, that's actually not on this list. I was like, dang, I'm forgetting one. My very first band ever, Morbid Asphyxiation, was a thing, and we all used to play shows together. And anyway, so at the time, Unreasonable's drummer, Jordan Pasquin, who's an amazing musician, was going off to Berkeley. He's going to music school, and the band wanted to keep playing shows and stuff. So I was like, I'll learn your stuff. We can play some shows. It'll be cool. So I ended up stepping into that band while Jordan was at school. And then, yeah, that's Eric's band. So that was the first time I'd ever played music with Eric. And we've kind of just been playing music together ever since then, really. But yeah, we did the one music video, and that band was, how do I say this? It was a party band. We were a party band. Like, the heavy party years in my life were when I was in that band. So we played a lot of sick shows, and we had a lot of fun on stage, put on a great show. We always had like great crowd feedback, pretty decent crowds. But yeah, we were just crazy party days, man. And then,
yeah.
So I don't know where you were going to go next, but just because we're at Unreasonably Human, we should also talk about Mount Cairn because it was all the same people except the singer. So me and Eric also were in Mount Cairn, and then Brandon Christensen, who was the other OG member of Unreasonably Human, was the other guitar player in Mount Cairn. Jeremy Arnold, guitar in both. Mount Cairn was Jeremy's band, the black metal band. So Jeremy had Mount Cairn, Eric and the boys had Unreasonably Human, and then we all just assimilated. So we all started playing in Mount Cairn, and then everyone in Mount Cairn was already in Unreasonably Human, but they just had different singers. So we would like have practice at the boys' house and shit, you know, like we practice the Unreasonable set, take a break, practice the Mount Cairn set. You know,
this is pretty much how my bands are going now, by the way.
Really?
Yeah. Half of Eisenmore is in Burning Shadows now. And then a third of Eisenmore is also in the death metal band, recently vacated Graves. But I don't have time to release things or record things or play shows, but you know.
Sure you do.
Yeah. I just won't sleep. I assume you don't sleep. So,
I sleep very little. I mean, it's a lie. I get to solve like 7 hours a night, you know?
Well, I can see you needing a party band after doing black metal, because for proper black metal, it needs to be serious and unhappy, you know?
Yeah. And I mean, Mount Cairn was pretty serious. We were a little more black and roll at times. Like, we had a couple songs where there's just a solid, just slow backbeat, and we're just kind of like, the dudes are playing some dark fucking heavy riff. So it wasn't all like tremolo and blasts, right? But there was plenty of that as well. And then, of course, we did the whole head to toe, corpse paint, spikes, chains, blood. We did it all. That was the only time I've ever done that, as far as like stage get up goes, was the full corpse paint. And to be honest, I never really got good at doing corpse paint. I always had to have like one of the guys just help me out, because I could apply like the white, you know what I mean, and like the black circles. But as far as like the cool lines and everyone's like personal face, the shapes and shit, I never got good at that. So, you know, it was a lot.
Plus you're like obscured by the symbols, so it's a lot of work for.
Right.
It's not like you're out front.
Right. Yeah. It was fun though.
Okay.
Imagine that gets in your eyes with them just sweat.
Yeah. You can get different kinds of paint though that kind of help with that. They make those now. I'm not too well versed in like the brands or the types, but I do remember that was at one point we had switched to this type of paint that was supposed to like kind of repel water. And it worked for a while, you know, but I mean, by the end of the set, you're just completely drenched. Like there's no avoiding that. So
I'm just picturing true Norwegian black metal bands in the 90s sharing makeup tips, you know?
Yeah. Right. You're like, like, oh yeah.
Pretending all this doesn't come from Kiss.
Right.
Yeah.
No, it's evil, Doug.
All that shit.
Evil.
I got to give Mount Cairn credit. That's an amazing logo. Amazing.
Oh, thanks. I don't remember who made that. Probably Sean, I think. Sean was our singer, and he was the artist of the band. He's a fine artist and a tattoo artist, so I imagine he probably drew that. It might have been Jeremy or somebody else over the years. I'm not sure, but yeah. Okay, I assume Sean had something to do with it, but yeah, it was definitely a sick logo for sure.
See that being a tattoo?
That would make a sick tattoo, actually.
Last word. Let's
yeah. Last word. So that is a band I'm currently in. They have been around for a long, long time, like 15 years. I think they've been in the scene in Northern Colorado. And they've just always, like, in all these other bands, like Karen, Unreasonable, Oat, when we were like a baby band, my old band, whatever, we all would go see Last Word play or play shows with them. They've just kind of always been there, and they've always been really good friends. Just super sick. Like, it over the years, like back in the day, it was just straight kind of Lamb of God, Pantera worship. Mm-hmm. You know, Jordan, my boy, love him to death. He can fucking shred like the fucking best of him. I would say he's very akin to Dime in the way that he plays. It's been one of the biggest influences for him that I know of. And the man's he's just a joy to watch on stage. He's a ball of energy, can just fucking shred, is super tight. It's amazing. And all the other guys in the band are fucking sick as well. Been quite a few lineup changes over the years for that band too, but Jordan's kind of been like the mainstay. And Eric Walker as well, the other Eric who plays bass, if we're not confused yet. So that band, I joined. I know, like, it's just, yeah, we need like bullet points and shit. I joined the band, in the before times. I've joined pre-COVID, and then COVID happened, and then went through a bunch of bullshit. I ended up leaving the band for a bit, and then came back, is the short story. So we recorded an album when we were coming after, it must have been like 2021 or 22, maybe. We recorded the album that's about to come out this year at Mordor Studios in Fort Collins. And
there's a Mordor studio?
Mordor Studio, and that's because I
wouldn't record anywhere else.
Yeah, right. And you know, we're all Lord of the Rings stands for sure, but it's called Mordor because there's so many doors in the studio itself. There's just door, you have to walk through so many doors. So, and then also because of Lord of the Rings, obviously. But so we recorded the album there. It's a fucking like 11 album, just banger, and it was a lot of fun. And it's finally coming out. It was mixed and mastered by David Sanchez from Havoc. We've released 2 singles so far. Yep. With I think one more on the way at some point. And then we're playing the Aggie Theater in Fort Collins May 23rd with Havoc and Dragoria and Ex Mortis. But yeah, as far as that band, like, this will finally be my first show with them after being in the band for I don't know how many years now. But yeah, just really awesome. Like, these days, the band's more mellow death. It's a little less Lamb of God, a little less Pantera, and a lot more like Insomnium, Dark Tranquility type stuff, with also just the thrash is still there, like the heavy thrash is still there, but it's a lot more mellow death now. Thanks to Mr. Aaron Gersick, came back into the band. He's an original member of that band as well. He came back in with all these sick mellow death, just awesomeness. And so we just kind of melded all the sounds together, and it's been great. So
that venue you mentioned seems like that seems to keep coming up in when I was looking through these bands. So I assume it's okay. Where's Fort Collins relative to Denver? It's like
to Denver. It's an hour, about an hour and a half, depending on where in Denver you're coming from. It's like an hour 20 northeast. So it's like on the way to Cheyenne, Wyoming.
Okay.
Oh, well, there's nothing up there. So it's your last chance for metal.
Essentially. Yeah. There's some shows that happen up in Cheyenne. Like, I don't think there's a big venue up there that I'm aware of. But we've like Ernie November's record store. We've played shows there before, you know, or like the Crown Bar, Crown Pub, Crown something up there. I think that's it for metal shows in Cheyenne, but,
well, that probably takes care of the whole state too. So
yeah,
come to Jasper.
Yeah, no. But yeah, the Aggie Theater's dope. It's a cool theater. Seen a lot of cool shows there.
Last one I have on here is Dirty Worthy. Which I added at the end.
Yes. So Dirty Worthy is a super fun, laid back, chill, Southern rock and roll type jam. My buddy Corey Presley hit me up and was like, "Hey, trying to do this project. I've already got all the music written. Just kind of like need people to be in photo shoots and music videos, and I will pay you." And I was like, "Hell yeah, brother!" So I shot the music video with him. He's also the singer and guitar player of the band. He's the front man. And then our buddy Baz on bass. So it's just a 3-piece. And we shot the music video out in bumfuck nowhere. I don't even remember where. Somewhere like out of town, out of Fort Collins, just in like the desert-ish flat top. I don't remember where it was. It was a very odd place. But we hiked all the gear out.
Oh my God.
It was like over a mile. Took a couple trips, hiked everything out there, set it up. The video looks great. The video it's amazing. Corey did such a good job, but loading in and loading out was terrible. But yeah, so there's one music video out. There's an album that you can find on Spotify.
I'll have all the links in the description.
Amazing.
So I will dig them all up. They'll all be down there.
And then we just did like one photo shoot. And then that's all we've done. But we've worked with Corey outside of that. So he's actually the guy that has shot the last 2 music videos for Okash and Thorn. So he did the Auras video that we just put out recently. And then our next video that is coming out on Thursday this week for Dying Culture, he shot that as well. So
by the time this airs, that video will have been out. So
hell yeah.
Go watch that video because the one we haven't seen yet, because it's out.
Yes, hell yeah. But yeah, I just like once I realized how good of a videographer he was, I was like, oh shit, what if instead of you paying me to like be in your band, what if I was just in your band and then you kind of hook us up with some deals? I mean, we've still paid him. We still pay him money, right? We don't get the shit for free, but I was like, what if you hooked it up on, like gave us a homie hookup on a video or something, and I'll just be in your band. And he was like, well, okay. So we have worked with him a lot. He recently just moved, but I have a feeling that if we do another music video anytime soon, I'm probably going to fly him back home for some shit. Because he's great. He's awesome to work with. If you are in Colorado and you need a music video done, Corey Presley is your boy.
I think I'm just going to do what Jag Panzer did and pull off at a scenic overlook and do it there.
Oh, yeah, there you go. I mean, that'd be easy.
Pretty sure that's what they did. I'm not positive.
Hell yeah.
So it seems like you've gone, at least for Okash and Thorn, you've gone from like a lot of DIY stuff to always recording in the studio, professional photo shoots, video shoots. Like, at what point what was the tipping point? Because eventually you need large cash infusions, and that's usually where a label comes in. Did a label help? Or
absolutely, yeah. So we've been signed to Lost Future for almost a couple of years now, I think. And yes, so it's one guy. Ben is amazing. He brought us on board at the end of, was it the end of 22? I feel like we signed at the end of 2022 and then started working out the details of like, what we were going to do for the release and stuff. And yes, he provided the budget for the both vinyl runs for Eternal and what we will do for Our Grief, and helped us financially get into the blasting room studio where we recorded the full length in Fort Collins. And yeah, I mean, he's been great. He's been awesome to work with. And we certainly wouldn't have been able to afford any of this shit without that label support. So yeah, it's been a fucking whirlwind of emotions and everything, just going from like doing everything yourself to all of a sudden you have a budget, and thankfully Adam is our money guy. He's our business person, handles all of like the tax shit, and he's the guy that crunches numbers. And so he's like, cool, this is our budget. We're going to spend this, and that. We'll have that left over. We can allocate that into like promotion or a photo shoot or a music video or something. He's just very good. So we're lucky that we have that too, because to be honest with you, numbers scare the fuck out of me. I don't like them. I don't like dealing with large sums of money. I just don't like it.
Well, as a drummer, you only count to 4.
I do. And that's actually true. I fucking hate an odd time signature. Like, I mean, I love it. I just haven't practiced it. I haven't spent any time with odd time signatures.
But 7 is easy because you count to 4 and then you count to 3.
I mean, that's true. That's true.
That's how my drummer does it.
Hell yeah. But yeah, dude, it was kind of crazy. It was really surreal to like be like, oh shit, we're gonna go spend a week at the blasting room. Like, this has been a bucket list thing for all of us since we were, umpteen years old. So, yeah, it's been really rad.
Yeah, I talked to. We didn't get too much into it, but I talked to. I'm never sure if I should call him Ty or Fang, but we talked to the guy from Lords of the Trident, the singer. And
okay, yeah.
They are pretty much completely crowd supported. So they have a Patreon.
Yeah.
And that's how they can afford to tour and do videos and
that's
that.
Awesome.
Yeah, and I think that's right. For like bands coming up. It's like, at what point do you have to make a choice at some point? Are you going to be crowd supported? Are you going to throw all your money into this hole? Are you going to have a rich uncle that dies? or are you going to get a label? And it's interesting to see all the sides of it. I'm hoping for the long lost relative, oh, it turns out here's $1 billion. Okay.
Right. I mean,
you can't buy credibility.
That's true. That's also true. As far as like, I know people have it seems like people have an adverse reaction to most people who do Patreon things. And I don't know where I'd stand with it or if I agree with like the pushback, because if you have I've never done Patreon myself, and I have been on other people's where I've given like $2 a month, $4 a month, whatever it is, to like, like certain podcasters, or there's like one of my favorite tarot readers has a Patreon community. And I was doing like the $5 a month tier for her for a little bit. And I never understood the pushback, because the people that you're supporting through Patreon are essentially working for you. Like, they're making content specifically for you guys that are on their accounts, giving them money every month. You know what I mean? So, and I guess it's not the people on the Patreon accounts who are mad about the people doing Patreon, it's people who aren't, and you don't understand how it works. But I just feel like, that's something that we've considered for sure. Before the label came along, but it's commendable, really, because that's a full-time job. If you really want to do it right, I feel like having your own Patreon is a full-time job, just to keep creating new, fresh, engaging content for your people who are giving you money every month. You really want to like spend as much time as you possibly can making cool shit for those people.
Well, what's it like? What was it like transitioning to recording in a studio versus? I imagine I'm very greatly simplifying the different ways you can record not in a studio,
right,
or in a studio. But how does it change the vibe? Is there a different kind of pressure, or do you playing as a band while you record typically?
So for Oates record, we all tracked separately. And going to a professional studio was amazing, but it was also very stressful. Yes, to the pressure, because
you're on the clock.
You're on the clock. Yeah, there's a time constraint, and then also you're on other people's dime as well. So that brought in a level of like, oh shit, what if they don't like it? What am I going to do? I have 2 days to do drums. that's not a whole lot of wiggle room to be like, oh, let's go back and change some shit. So, there's pressure to like nail it, and then there's pressure to nail it in time, right? And I think next time, if possible, if we have the time, I think I would like to do 3 days for drums. I've always kind of been one like do 5-6 songs in a day. Like when we did Last Words record, that was, I mean, I would say Mordor is a professional studio for sure. Not as pro as the Blasting Room by any means, but like there I did 7 songs in one day. But the tracking style was very different. So the thing that got me about being at Blasting Room for the Our Grief Is Thus album is working with Colton Crone, one of the lead engineers there. Love him. The way he tracks is like, we're doing like intro, just piece by piece, right? So we'll do the intro and then like 15 seconds after the intro, stop, do it again. Same thing, like 30 and 40-second passages.
It's not a song. It's parts of a song that you go and nail.
And I wasn't accustomed to that because doing 7 songs in Mordor, I just like 7 songs in a day. Our buddy Chris, who was engineering for us, he was like, "Cool, I'm gonna have you play the song like 2-3 times, and that should give us everything." And I'm like, "Sick." So then you just kind of cut and paste and chop it up and take the best parts, the best takes from each of the 3 song takes that you did and kind of splice it together. This session, Colton I didn't play one song from start to finish. It was very like intro, this part, this verse, chorus, do it again, and that was challenging. Definitely got in my head a little bit for parts of it. And then, by the end of
Does he know what he wants to hear, or is he just getting 2-3 options for when it's all cut together later?
So he definitely knew what he wanted to hear for sure. There was only one song, Auras actually was the most undercooked song of the whole batch. Everything else we had like, this is the drum part, we like it. And we had a producer as well. We brought in Taylor Hahn from Hahn Audio to produce us, and he was really good at like, I don't think this feels quite right. Why don't we do something else? Or like, let's just omit this section entirely. It's too repetitive, so he was there to also kind of like piece things together. But as far as tracking goes, like, I knew my parts. I was as prepared as I could have been. I was stoked on that. Hadn't been that prepared for a studio session before, but it was just the do it again. Oh, that was good, but I think it could be better. Do it again and again, So the end of day 1, we had 1 song done, and I was like, fuck. Cause in that same day we did load in, setup, we got tones, got all the mics set, like all the pre-recording stuff. We did that day 1, and then we started tracking evening of day 1, and I got 1 song done. So I had 1 more day to do the other 5 or 4 or whatever it was. And just going the way Colton tracks, I was like, dang, I don't know if I'm gonna get this done in time. So that was stressful. And day 2 was like a 16-hour day or like a 14 or 15-hour day. It was very long. And by the end of it, I was just totally burnt. Like my brain was so fried. But it was sick because Colton got the best takes I could possibly have done. And I'm very proud to say that every drum thing on the album I actually played. There was no we'll just put it in, which I'm not against that. I'm not against doing that, but I wanted to go in and like play everything. There were some really challenging parts on the album, so I was able to get that done, which is sick. But yes, very stressful.
Aren't you done first as the drummer? Traditionally, I assume you do the drums and then everything else, right?
Yes. I do love that part about being a drummer because I'm just like, hell yeah, get your shit done in a day or 2, and then you're chilling,
I'm gonna sit here and criticize everyone now that I'm done.
Nah, I'm gonna sit here and eat snacks and like cheer everyone on, and be the food runner if anyone needs, like, but I do like that. I do like being done first. That is quite nice.
Did you ever get your China cymbal fixed? Because it was on the tour. It was in a bad way. I assume it didn't make it back.
It's worse now.
Oh no.
Yeah. Meinl, if you're listening, I need help, please.
I'll tag them.
No.
I'll make a note to tag them.
Oh, that would be amazing. Yeah, no, I've still got that same China, and it is completely fucked. I mean, it's still playable.
Yeah, how does it sound though?
Not as bad as it looks. I will say that.
Not as good as it used to.
Not as good as it used to. Not as bad as it looks. It's still playable. It still does the thing. It's not like choking on itself. But yeah, I think I've got one.
We don't give us.
Sorry, I was reaching. I don't know if you can see this. No, you can't.
No, I can't. I can't.
I was reaching for my mute button to cough, and I hit.
Yeah.
We don't give a shit button. I do give a shit.
Amazing. No, keep that. We have to keep that.
I'll leave it in.
Hell yeah. Okay, amazing. But yeah, of all the symbols that I had on tour, I think my ride, which is not Meinl, that's my Sabian ride that I've had for a decade, and my hi-hats are the only things not cracked. So, there's that.
Well, at least symbols are nice and affordable and cheap.
Yes. Yeah, you go through them really quickly, but yeah, they are quite easy to replace.
So I was watching a bunch of your videos this morning. My son wants to know how you play so fast.
How do I play so fast? I'll tell you what, I start really, really, really slow. You just take things that look and sound really, really fast, and you slow them down till they're a manageable speed. Do that until it gets comfy for you, and then when you can do that, increase it 5 or 10 beats per minute, and then do that until it gets easy, and then increase 5 or 10, and then so on and so forth. But you just got to start super, super slow.
Apparently, you can't just skip the painkiller.
Oh, God, I tried, though. The way I tried. I, literally, within the last probably 4 years of my playing, could actually, play that song accurately. That intro is just... it's insane. It's iconic. And it takes a lot of practice to just be able to nail it and make it sound right, But I tried. That's been on my list of songs to learn since I've just started. And I just remember thinking, I'm never going to be able to play this song. It is so crazy,
Are there any more like that?
Songs that I wanted to play when I was just starting out that I can now. I haven't tried it, but I know I could do it. Is probably Disposable Heroes, Metallica. That song was, I don't know if it still is my favorite off of Master, but for a long, long time in my formative years, it was my favorite song off of Master. And I just remember that fucking skank beat. That's that whole entire song. I just remember my mind being blown and being that was another, I'm never going to be able to play this. And now I haven't tried yet, but I'm sure I could now. But yeah, that's the first one that popped into my head. I think probably that.
Dyer's Eve would be one of the most challenging Metallica songs because Lars has never even played it. So
yeah. Damn.
Oh, I have the same name.
I would say something.
Yeah, go ahead.
On the Lars of it all, okay, I'm not conflicted, right? But as a kid, he was my number fucking one. He was top of the list. Lars fucking Ulrich, Metallica, period. No one's better, right? And then the older I got, the more I dug, the more I kind of just was okay, he's okay, yeah. He's not. I mean, maybe at one point he was the fucking man, but I feel there are some clips where I'm I just question it so much because I'm buddy, you have been playing that part for 30 years and we're still struggling. I love you. I love you, but
I do have the Saint Anger snare in here. There it is.
amazing. You know what? I don't hate that album. I don't hate that one.
We have discussed it at length, and it's
Have you? Amazing.
Yeah,
I mean, again, that shit came out when I was like, not to get too off topic from our shit here, but that album came out when I was really young and really fucking mad, and it scratched an itch for me, and I fucking had it on repeat for like 4 months straight, you know? So I know it gets a lot of shit, but I do love that record.
When we do our annual Saint Anger show, we should just have you back as counterpoint.
Yeah, would you? That'd be dope. Oh yeah, do you guys just talk shit about it?
Some people have strong opinions on it.
That's fair. That's fair and understandable. But no, I loved it. Yeah, that sounds really fun.
Doug, do you have anything else?
It was very, very enlightening. Thank you.
Sarah, did you have anything you want to do?
Anything
bring
we can
up?
plug?
Oh man, God, there's way too much shit going on. Yes, new Okash and Thorn music video this Thursday, the 21st. Last Words album comes out in May. HARBOURED's going to be recording another one this year. What am I missing? Oh, Emasculator. Hello. We'll be recording for Emasculator in April for the album that comes out later this year. We'll be at Texas Domination Fest in September. And then there's some other fun things going on in the Oat Camp that'll be a later this year thing that we can't quite talk about yet. So very busy year. And I probably forgot like 3 things.
The only one I know is the album comes out April 19th.
Hell yes.
Okash and Thorn.
Very stoked. Very stoked.
If that's everything, then until next time, Metal Nation, if you want to join 8 bands at once, move to Denver or Fort Collins or whatever.
Yes.
Or wherever. This is usually where Matt says something funny, but he's in Peru.